Hello guys, so in this video we are going to be using Python request module to log in into this website. So this is just I'm using this website just as an example, but what we are going to be learning here is applicable and would be applicable on any website you want to log in. And we are going to be also logging into the website, and we are going to create a post once we log in. So this concept would be applicable on any website you want. Most of the website you would be able to log in and automate things like creating a post or scraping some data that requires some authentication. So now keep in mind I'm going to be using Firefox for this video, but many of you I know might be using Chrome, so that won't make a difference, so you can follow along. And yeah, so let's get started now. First, whenever you need to log in into some website, we need to monitor the request and where the request is being made when you are logging in. So here I have already created an account on this website, so I'm going to be leaving the credential of this account down below in the description so that you would be able to follow along, and or you can also use any website you need to scrape or you need to log in into and automate some things. So now the password is password, not a very secure password, I know. So I pressed Ctrl Shift I to get developer tools, and once you get developer tool, note that this is applicable for both Mozilla, Firefox and Chrome. So now once you get this developer tool, click on the network tab, and now you're going to see this kind of an interface. So once you enter the credential, let's click on login. So now as you can see, it have created a post request. So the method of the request should be post. So it have created a post request to this URL, to this endpoint. So now this when it creates this post request, it sends the data which we used. And in Chrome, if you are going to slide down, you can see the data, form data, and in Mozilla we can look at this request, and you would be able to see the form data it sent. So it sent a CSRF token, email, password, and remember me. For I guess it is for saving it as a cookie, so that next time you would not require credential to log in into the website. So now all this data is being sent. Now what we are going to do is, instead of creating our own dictionary and everything, we are just going to take this request and copy it as curl. So once we copy this request as curl, let's go to this website. I'm going to link this website in the description below, and this is a great website. It just convert curl command to Python requests. So let's do it now. You can see we are interested in data and the headers. So what headers are doing, data is essentially just the data. So now we have copy pasted the headers in the data. So what header is doing is, it is just making a request such that the website we are making the request to is not able to differentiate the request, whether we are making it from our Python script or we are making it from the browser. So that is what the header are actually doing. It is mimicking the request that is sent by the browser itself, and this data is just the payload or the form data that is being sent. So keep in mind, this CSRF token is a token that is going to vary and you are going to see this kind of a token used almost in every website. And this token, we are going to get the value of this token in a short while. So keep in mind, this is not constant, so there's no point storing this. So when we are going to make the request, we are going to need to find out the CSRF token then only. Alright, so now let's go ahead and log out. So now we need to start a request session. So now let's first import requests, and now let's do with requests dot session as we are going to, so what this here is doing is it is creating a request session. So in this way, when we create a session, the cookies or the session variables that are created are persistent, it don't get thrown away. So once we log in into the website, it's going to create a cookie. So next time we are going to be able to submit a get request or a post request to or any request to the endpoint which require authentication, which require us to be logged in to the website, and it is going to, the login basically is going to persist and it's not going to be thrown away, right? Hope it makes sense. So now let's go ahead and copy this URL. So login URL is this. Now let's submit a GET request to this URL. s.get login URL. We are submitting a GET request to this URL to get the CSRF token. So in our case, the CSRF token, as you can see, as you would be able to see, it is a hidden input element, and here is the CSRF token, and here is the value of the CSRF token. So to get this value of this CSRF token, we are going to be using BeautifulSoup, right? BeautifulSoup. If Python, right? So we are going to be using this module. Now I think if you want to install BeautifulSoup, you would need to go ahead and run pip install bs4, and this should install it on your system. I already have this installed. Alright, so seems like it was not already installed in this environment. So you can just run pip install bs4 to install BeautifulSoup 4, and now this BeautifulSoup is essentially is provide us with a way to parse the HTML. It provides us with a way to parse HTML. Now real quick, I'm going to activate so make sure I am in the right environment. So BeautifulSoup is just allows us to parse the HTML data which we get and retrieve what the tag or the value we want. So now let's create a soup object, BeautifulSoup, and here let's pass in r.text is just the HTML data, and say HTML.parse. Now we need to find a tag with an ID of CSRF token, and we require this value. So let's find out how we can do this. So as you can see, to find a tag with some ID, this is the syntax that is required. So let's use this. Oops, I did not copy this. So let's copy this and get the value, and this we are going to store it in a variable or called CSRF token, right? So this is our CSRF token. Now once we have got this CSRF token, let's replace this empty string with the real CSRF token, and let's CSRF token. And now we are going to make a post request. Now we are going to be making a post request to this URL. As we saw earlier, when we actually log in into the website, it makes a post request to this URL, right? So it is making a post request to this URL and submitting my phone data, CSRF token and password, as you can see. So we are also going to be making a post request to this URL, and this URL turns out to be same as this login URL. So we just need to send a post request using s.post and provide in the login URL and data equal to data. And in some cases, not in all of them, you are going to have to use headers too. So these headers, which I told you, is just to make sure that the server we are making request to don't know that we are using a Python script to make a request to their service. Instead, we are some legit user browsing the web, right? So once we make a post request, we should be now logged in. To verify that we are logged in, let's go ahead and request a page that we are only going to get once we are logged in. So now, as you can see, this add post page, if we are not logged in, if I turn on an incognito, if I open an incognito window, and use this URL here, it says please log in to access this page. So that means this add post page is only going to be available if we log in into the website. So let's see if it's available. So we make a get request r.get request to this URL, and we are not r.get, s.get, and let's see if we have it. We are just going to print out r.text, and now let's run this file. So I'm using VS Code integrated terminal to run the file. You can just use anything else you want. Just make sure you run this Python file. So now, I'm really sorry that I forgot to replace this example ID with the real ID. So ID there, as you would see right here, ID, it was named CSRF token. So the ID was CSRF token. So we forgot to replace it, and now it should work. So now, as you can see, we got a page back, and this page is just this same page, this page, add post page. So we have got this page back. That means we are logged in into the website. So once we are logged in, now let's use a request module to create a post on this website. So let's create a demo post, and this is a demo post. We are just creating this demo post to see how where the requests are being made when we click on this post button, so we can mimic that with our Python script using request module. Now let's copy in some lorem ipsum. It's just dummy text. So we copy in this lorem ipsum. And now let's click on post button, and as you can see this website, we are making a post request to this website. As you can see, the method is post. So because this is the website we are making a post request to, so now this also requires us to give it a CSRF token and a title, short description, post, and submit. Right, so let's copy it as curl and repeat the same process once again. So this time I'm going to do it a little bit quick, as we have already done it before. Let's copy the data and we are going to say post data, and let's copy this to the top where we declare all our variables. Now as you have seen in in the previous example when we were logging in, this CSRF token is going to vary from when we are going to make the request. So we are going to need to fetch this CSRF token from the website itself by making a get request to the website. So we have got all this data, and now we are going to focus on creating a post from our Python program. So let's change the title to say this post has been created by Python script, so that we can clearly see that this post was created by our own Python script. So now let's go ahead and copy this URL. Actually we already have it here, so let's store it in add post variable. And now we are going to submit a get request first on this add post URL. Now if you want, you can also include headers, but right now on this website it's not necessary, but if anything goes wrong you can also include the headers. And we need to again get a CSRF token, and CSRF token, if you're going to see, is again stored like that only. So as you can see, the CSRF token is being stored with an ID of CSRF token, and the value of it contains the CSRF token itself. So let's go ahead and use these same steps to get the CSRF token. Right, this time we need to use post underscore data instead of data, and once we have the CSRF token, let's say s.post and add underscore post is just the URL. We are submitting the post request, and data is equal to post underscore data. Alright, so now let's run this Python script and see if it creates a new post. Alrighty, so it didn't give us any error, so I would hope everything was fine. And here we are, this post has been created by Python script and we have completed this tutorial, and I really hope you liked it. This was my first video on YouTube, so please, there were many mistakes I know I might have made. So yeah, thank you all for watching and have a good day.